hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to Motivational Mondays. I am Shani and I am here to motivate you. And so hello to all of you beautiful, wonderful, kind, loving, good-hearted souls that are out there in the world and the universe and the planets. And I'm very glad that you've decided to join me today. Now today, my friends, I want to motivate you. And today, I thought I would start by sharing a story with you about something that happened to me the other day. And then after that, I will have some closing thoughts. Just a few days ago, my husband and I were coming home from the store in the car. We came up to a red light and we stopped at the red light. And to my right, pulled up a police officer and stopped right there. Now I looked over at this police officer and I noticed that his computer right by the steering wheel was open and he was reading and typing on it with one of his hands. Now that's not abnormal. I understand that police officers need to have their computers open in their car for a different reason. However, he then had his other hand, his left hand, his only free hand to drive, was full of papers that he was trying to sort with one hand. And I thought to myself, that's not safe. I hope he wasn't doing that while he was actually driving. But then, the kicker, ladies and gentlemen, is that he looked over at me and saw me watching, and he quickly got scared, and he grabbed his seatbelt that was not buckled up, and he buckled his seatbelt, and he drove along his way. Now, what is the moral of this story? The moral of this story is that we might go through life thinking that perfect and goodness and perfectness exists in the world, and that even somebody that I would expect to be the most perfect, safest driver wasn't perfect and wasn't safe, because nobody, ladies and gentlemen, is perfect. There is not one human being on this earth that is perfect. Now, I would like to point out that I am very grateful for all of the police officers and anybody in that field that work very hard to protect us. I am very grateful for them. But I was angry. I was like, why are we following the law if our own police officers are not? Because once again, those police officers are not perfect, just like we are not perfect. And so what can we do with this knowledge? Might we look at it as, you know what? Maybe he just came from saving a woman who almost died and who needed mouth to mouth, and he got out of his police car as fast as he could just down the block and gave her mouth to mouth and saved her life, and then got called in the car to go somewhere else very, very quickly. And maybe that's why he looked at his papers, and maybe that's why he forgot to buckle up, because he was on a mission to save somebody else's life. Who knows? Now, I am not saying, I am not justifying that it is okay to not buckle up. I'm not saying that letting yourself be imperfect doesn't mean that you should let yourself be unsafe. However, the point is that we don't know why other people act the way that they do. Now, every single one of us have it inside of us to judge people. And not judge, but maybe criticize, maybe look at other people's lives, because again, we are not perfect, even those of us such as myself who work very hard to try to understand all people and understand why people act in horrible ways and why people do horrible things, and try and understand where they might be coming from. Even people like that cannot be perfect. Even those people that you see on the internet that claim that they are the most non-judgmental, easygoing, flowing people that love everybody and everybody is harmonious in their life and their harmonies of their hearts, even those people can't possibly be perfect at it. So the point of this is that I would like you to practice something for me this week. No. I would like you to practice something with me this week. We want you to practice the way that you look at other people and the way that maybe some of them don't buckle their seatbelt. And maybe some of them have their computers open, and maybe some of them have their hands full of papers that have to do with saving lives and keeping our country safe. And maybe try and think of it as a different way. Maybe try and think to yourself, now what is it that maybe they are going through that would allow them, that would make them, that would cause them to act that certain way? And I promise you, my friends, the more that we practice this, the more that we practice realizing that not only are we not perfect, but that everybody else in the world is also not perfect, the happier we will become and the more at peace with ourselves and our lives and our seatbelts that we will be. There will come a time where you might just enter a car that does not have a seatbelt in it. Because sometimes, my friends, seatbelts break. Sometimes seatbelts get caught in the doors of the lives of the times of the people who are trapping the doors of the seatbelts in the doors and break them. Sometimes that happens. And so what do? Well, my friends, you buddy up. You sit next to the person beside you in the car and you stretch the seatbelt to cover both of you. So just because a seatbelt might not be in your car, there are other ways to buckle up. So my challenge to you this week is to first of all realize that you are not perfect. You never, as a human being in human form, will be perfect. And so stop being so hard on yourself. Stop beating yourself up for the little things that are not going to matter forever. And I'm talking to myself as well. We all need to do this. We all need to stop judging ourselves and being so harsh on ourselves because we're never going to reach that level of perfection. Not sure where I was going with that. So not only are you not perfect, my friends, but other people in the world are not perfect. And so I challenge you to realize that you are not perfect, to realize that nobody around you is perfect, and to realize that the sooner we can all start to live in a world where we all understand each other better by making our expectations more realistic, it is then, my friend, that we will find that strength, that inner strength, inside of us, that we may use to face the Mondays of the days of the weeks and the Mondays that continue throughout the worlds of the times. And we take that seatbelt and we double up with our buddies, and we know that there are ways around the fact that we are not perfect. Now, thank you again to the police officers of the world for saving our lives on a daily basis, for protecting our countries, for making us feel safer in the world. I appreciate that. And to everybody else, police officers are not perfect. The President of the United States is not perfect, and that's okay. And so when you go to vote for our new President of the United States, if you live in the United States, then might you ask yourself, and might you remind yourself, Hillary is not perfect, and Donald Trump is not perfect, believe it or not. And the sooner we stop expecting perfection from other people, and that we think that they have this like magical ability just because they are in office, or because they are police officers, or because they're somebody that has a very big role in our world, okay? We tend to push all of this pressure onto them that is absolutely unrealistic. And the sooner we stop doing that, not only putting that on other people, but also being more realistic with ourselves, that is when we will find the most true, the most possible, the most realistic happiness that we can find in this life. And so may your seatbelts not be broken. And if they are, then my friends, may you buddy up and face the cars and the traffics of the world and be as safe as you possibly can and be as kind as you possibly can. And to try and remember that you are not perfect and nobody else here is perfect. My dear brothers and sisters of the world, you are beautiful. You are worth it. And I am too. And together we can become unified in the yellow colors of the world. I believe in you, and all we all need to do now is believe in each other. Thank you for watching. Mm.